722 Boniface is consecrated bishop by Pope Gregory II. In 1016 King of Denmark, Cnut the Great Cnut claims the English throne after the death of Edmund Ironside. In 1215 Pope Innocent III formally closes the Fourth Council of the Lateran. In 1406 Angelo Corraro is elected Pope Gregory XII following the death of Pope Innocent VII. Order of the Golden Fleece 1431 The first chapter of the Order of the Golden Fleece, established by Philip the Good in 1430, meets at Saint-Pierre Collegiate Church in Lille, Duchy of Burgundy. In 1487 the first German beer purity law Reinheitsgebot is promulgated in Munich by Albert Roman IV, Duke of Bavaria, stating that beer should be brewed from only 3 ingredients: water, malt, and hops. In 1523 Amsterdam bans the Assembly of Heretics. England reconciles with the Catholic Church 1554 The Kingdom of England formally reconciles with Pope Julius III and the Roman Catholic Church. In 1630 an estimated 46,000 inhabitants of Venice die in November 1630 from the plague. In 1678 Roman Catholics are banned from the English Parliament. Battle at Narva 1700 Battle of Narva, Swedish forces under King Charles XII defeat the Russian army. In 1731 Beijing is hit by a major earthquake, causing an estimated 100,000 deaths. In 1735 States of Holland forbids Freemasonry. Copley Medal 1753 Benjamin Franklin receives the Godfrey Copley Medal on account of his curious experiments and observations on electricity. In 1782 the Treaty of Paris is drafted, a step towards US independence. Death penalty first abolished 1786 Grand Duke of Tuscany Leopold Roman II promulgates a penal reform, making Tuscany the first state to abolish the death penalty. November 30 is now commemorated as Cities for Life Day. In 1787 Spanish Governor-General Jos Basco y Vargas resigns and leaves the Philippines. In 1803 Spain transfers its power over the Louisiana Territory to France. In 1804 the Senate begins preparations for an impeachment trial of Supreme Court Justice Samuel Chase. In 1813 Prince Willem Frederik returns to Netherlands after exile in Britain. In 1824 ground is first broken at Allenburg for the building of the original Welland Canal. In 1829 First Welland Canal opens for a trial run 5 years to the day from the groundbreaking. In 1838 Mexico declares war on France. In 1854 rebellion of miners at Eureka Stockade at Ballarat in Victoria, who swear allegiance to the Southern Cross flag, angry at the colonial government landmark event in Australian Labour Relations 1. In 1861 Harper's Weekly publishes a poem called The Picket-Guard attributed to E.B. The poet is later identified as Ethel Beers, and the title All Quiet Along the Potomac Tonight 1. In 1863 Confederate troops vacate Fort Esperanza, Texas. In 1864 Battle of Franklin, Tennessee, Confederate attack fails, 7,700 casualties. In 1864 Battle of Honey Hill, South Carolina Broad River 96 dead, 665 wounded. In 1866 work begins on the first U.S. underwater highway tunnel in Chicago. In 1868 statue of King Charles XII of Sweden dedicated at the King's Garden in Stockholm. In 1872 First International Soccer Game, Scotland draws with England 0-0 in Glasgow. In 1876 archaeologist Heinrich Schliemann discovers the gold mask of Agamemnon at Mycenae in modern Greece, known as the Mona Lisa of prehistory. In 1885 opera El Cid premieres Paris. In 1886 first commercially successful AC electric power plant opens in Buffalo, New York. In 1886 the Folies Bergère restages its first review. 1887 first indoor softball game in Chicago. Rights and duties of capital and labor. 1891 Pope Leo XIII publishes encyclical Rerum Novarum Rights and duties of capital and labor addressing the condition of the working class. In 1900 a German engineer patents front-wheel drive for automobiles. In 1900 the First Isthmian Canal Commission, appointed by the President having examined possible routes for a canal, issues its report favouring the Duchy over the Panama route. In 1902, American Old West, second-in-command of Butch Cassidy's Wild Bunch gang Kid Curry Logan sentenced to 20 years imprisonment with hard labor. In 1907, Pike Place Market dedicated in Seattle. In 1908, the US Secretary of State and Japan's ambassador to the US exchanged notes in what becomes known as the Root-Takahira Agreement. They affirm support for an independent China with an open-door policy and for the status quo in the Pacific. People's Budget 1909, British House of Lords rejects David Lloyd George's People's Budget, which tried to shift tax burden to the wealthy. Lead to the Parliament Act, designed to stop the unelected House from overruling the will of the elected House. In 1915, St John Ervine's John Ferguson premieres in Dublin. In 1916, Costa Rica becomes a signatory to the Buenos Aires Copyright Treaty. In 1922, first speed test of the first genuine Japanese aircraft carrier HSH. In 1923, Dutch Catholic minority government of Wilhelm Marx forms. In 1924, French and Belgian troops withdrawn from their occupation of the Ruhr. In 1924, the first transatlantic radio photo facsimile is transmitted, when a photograph of President Calvin Coolidge is sent from New York to London via the Radio Corporation of America (ACA). Bradman's Test debut. 1928, Australian cricket legend Don Bradman makes an inauspicious Test debut, scores 18, and won vs England in first Test in Brisbane, brought to 12th man for second Test. In 1931, his Master's Voice and Columbia Records merge into EMI. In 1933, CCC camps are established in Cleveland Park District. In 1936, London's Crystal Palace built, 1,851 destroyed by fire. 1937, Third Heisman Trophy Award, Plint Frank, Yale HB. In 1938, fascist coup in Romania fails. In 1938,